You're always the one offering support, making the effort and holding things together. If you stopped, you fear that the other person wouldn't step up. You feel like you have to try harder than others, and you're constantly worrying about what other people think of you. Maybe you're afraid of upsetting people, always feeling like you're on edge and unable to be fully yourself. If the concept, by the way, of just be yourself irritates you and you feel like it's not that easy, then I have made a video on why it's difficult to just be yourself, which I invite you to check out after this video if it resonates. I imagine you want the kind of relationships where you feel free to be yourself, fully accepted and loved. You want to talk to your friends or your partner about anything that's coming up for you without fear. You want to know that you're cared for as much as you care. You want to be able to trust the people in your life, knowing that you could call on them if you needed them and they'd show up without feeling like a burden. Now, if all of this sounds familiar, then what you might be seeking is a shift from more codependent style relationships to interdependent relationships, ones that are built on mutual support and care rather than what feels like one-sided effort. And if that's the case, then there's one powerful concept which could support you in making this transition. I've called it, you get what you tolerate. Now, what I'm going to invite you to do is think of your life like limited physical space, like a room. And if you're allowing situations, relationships, people that don't fulfill you to stay, then they're there taking up a lot of that space. But when you let go of that which doesn't serve you or doesn't fulfill you, then it frees up that space for things and people that do. It's like a relationship walks into your life and you're like, oh, I don't feel aligned with this, doesn't quite fulfill me. That's okay. It can leave the room, freeing up that space. Next relationship comes in, oh, I don't feel like it quite aligns actually. That's okay. You can leave that space. Next person walks in, next relationship. Oh, this does feel like it aligns and fulfills me. Okay, then that can stay. You get what you tolerate. Have you been allowing situations, people, or relationships that don't fulfill you to stay taking up space in your life? It's okay if you have, but just check in. Have you been pouring energy into them, hoping that one day they'll change? Maybe if you just tried hard enough, they could become the type of relationship that would fulfill you. A couple of examples that I'll read to you on this. Jake keeps seeing a friend even though he doesn't enjoy their time together. He feels used, but he doesn't want to say no, doesn't want to let them down. So he makes excuses to not see them until eventually he feels obligated to say yes and meets them. Sarah isn't happy in her relationship, always putting in more effort than her partner. She doesn't feel like she can rely on them, yet she stays out of a fear of being alone or the fear that she won't actually find anything better. I can personally relate to that one. So it begs an interesting question. Why do people tolerate that which doesn't fulfill them? There are very valid reasons why this happens. There are many reasons for this. And if this is something that you resonate with or want to go deeper on, then you can check out the resources that I've linked in the description. There you'll find a lot more insights. But a few key reasons I want to address today are: one, feeling responsible for others. If you feel guilty, if your actions lead to someone being upset, or if you feel like it's your job to make people happy, then this one might apply to you. Two, the hope that things will change. If you keep trying one more thing to make the relationship work, thinking that you can improve it without having to risk losing anything, then this one might apply to you. And third, not knowing what we need or value. Without this clarity on what you need or value, it's really difficult to prioritize these things and set boundaries around them. So we might let things into our life and tolerate them being there simply because we aren't aware that they don't align with us, but we feel the impact of it nonetheless. So how can all of this hold us back from getting the kind of relationships, interdependent relationships that we want? Well, simply put, spending time on relationships that don't fulfill us prevents us from being able to invest in ones that would. Again, limited space. There are people out there who are a good fit for you, who are aligned with you. It's a common misconception to think that maybe that's wishful thinking. No, those people are out there. But how could you find them and invest into those relationships if you are spending your time and energy into relationships which don't fulfill you? Okay, so what can you do instead if this applies to you? Well, firstly, you can get clear on what it is that you need and what you value if you haven't already. And second, you can take responsibility for fulfilling and protecting these for yourself. It's all of our individual responsibility to fulfill and protect our own needs and values to the very best of our ability and allow other people to take the same responsibility for theirs. I spent years chasing others and chasing other people's approval. I felt responsible for other people and I was tolerating very unbalanced relationships. And consequently, I hadn't spent an awful lot of time focusing on, hey, what do I need and caring about what I need? Could you write down what you need to feel physically, emotionally, and mentally well? If you struggle with that, then you might consider that it might even be even more important then to put some time and energy into this. And now's as good a time as any to do that. How could doing these simple things help you to get the kind of relationships that you need and value? Well, once you can confidently fulfill your needs and values for yourself, you can have fun on your own, you feel secure on your own, you can take care of your emotional well-being on your own. It's possible to then stop looking for relationships and other people to sort of fill that void. Healthy relationships aren't built on external validation or fixing someone else or being fixed by someone else. They're about mutual care, respect, trust, and shared experiences. By setting boundaries like saying, hey, when you agreed to help me move and show up at this time and you didn't and you let me down, that led to me feeling distrustful. You'll quickly see who respects your needs and values and who doesn't. And that's their choice and that's okay. The point is that you get to see. And then you have the option to filter out relationships which don't align with you and which don't support your well-being. You get what you tolerate. If you often find that you're feeling anxious, preoccupied, second-guessing yourself, overthinking, or you're not very aware of your needs and values or don't seem to care about them, you may be struggling with something I call being attached to outcomes. Being attached to outcomes means that your confidence or self-worth or your security or your sense of peace depends on how other people respond to you or on the results that you achieve. An example of this that I heard the other day was, I feel very stressed until this person messages me back. I think they might be mad at me. Once they message me back though, then I'll know it's okay. I'll feel okay again. But doesn't everyone operate like this? You might be wondering. Not necessarily. If you've ever noticed people who seem to have secure, peaceful, easy relationships with other people and they're fulfilled and they kind of operate with this sort of self-assurance, the chances are they don't rely on external validation. Them feeling okay is not dependent on how other people are responding to them. Instead, they find security and confidence and fulfillment through the practice of tending to and fulfilling and protecting their needs and values for themselves, regardless of how other people choose to respond to that. A lot of people feel nervous about the concept of detaching from external validation and not seeking other people's approval anymore. A common fear that comes up is if I do that, then I'm going to alienate myself or I'll be alone. But if you share that concern and at the moment you feel slightly alienated and you're seeking external validation, then have you considered that doing the opposite, detaching from external validation, might breed the opposite results? There's a whole series of videos that you'll find in the description that breaks down how this pattern creates anxiety, overthinking, second-guessing yourself, and can lead to unfulfilling relationships. They'll also guide you through how to find your needs and values, how to fulfill them for yourself confidently, and they demonstrate how when we align to ourselves, it creates calm and clarity and present-mindedness and the kind of relationships that I imagine that you want. So if this is a topic that resonates with you and you think you could benefit from, then I invite you to head to the description, follow that link, and I'll see you over there. If that's not for you, then I'll see you in the next video.